All right, let's talk about a simple framework that could completely change the way you think about a tennis point. Seriously, it all comes down to a small mental shift that, I promise you, can lead to some pretty big results out on the court.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You're in the middle of a rally, you're feeling good, and then bam, which should have been an easy forehand just dumps right into the net. You start blaming your technique, your footwork, maybe even your racket. But what if the real problem isn't your strokes at all?
And that is the secret. For most of us, the problem isn't a bad swing. It's a bad choice. We're hitting the wrong shot at the wrong time. We're asking our strokes to perform miracles they just aren't in a position to pull off. I mean, this quote just reframes the whole problem, doesn't it? Winning tennis isn't really about hitting a perfect jaw-dropping winner on every single shot. It's about making the smart play, the right play, for the situation you're in. And today, we're going to give you the mental map to do exactly that. Okay, so here's the core idea. At any given moment and any point, you're in one of three situations, or phases. You're either on offense, you're in a neutral rally, or you're on defense. Just figuring out which one you're in, well, that's the key to making better decisions and, you guessed it, winning a lot more points. So here's a quick look at how it breaks down. If you're on offense, your goal is simple. End the point. You're probably up inside the baseline. If it's neutral, your main job is just don't get attacked. You're hanging around the baseline. And on defense, your goal is to just survive, man. You're probably behind the baseline, maybe stretched out wide. See? Simple, right? Let's dig into each one.
Offense. This is the fun part. This is when you've hit a great shot. Your opponent is scrambling, and you get to move inside the court to put the ball away. Your shot selection here should absolutely be aggressive. This is your green light. Go for it.
And now for the polar opposite, defense. You're stretched out wide, you're off balance, maybe you're even running backwards. Now listen, because this is key. Your only job here is survival. Forget about hitting a winner. Forget about hitting anything great. Your one and only mission is to get that ball up high and deep to buy yourself some time. And that brings us to the neutral phase, which, believe it or not, is where you're going to spend most of your time on a tennis court. You're both at the baseline, you're trading solid ground strokes, nobody's really in trouble, but nobody has a clear shot to attack either. In this phase, patience is absolutely everything. And this is so, so important. See, winning at the club level isn't about hitting some incredible highlight reel shot. Nope. It's about being more solid, more consistent than your opponent during these neutral rallies, until one of you creates an opportunity, or more likely, one of you makes a mistake. Okay, so if this neutral phase is so critical, what are we actually trying to do? What does a smart, effective neutral ball actually look like? What's its job? A really good neutral ball has a few key ingredients. First, it's got to have depth. You want to land it near their baseline to push them back. It should also have plenty of height over the net for safety. I mean, no more cheap errors, right? This combination does two crucial things. It stops your opponent from attacking you, and it buys you time to get back into position for the next shot. You know, a tennis point is always moving. It's fluid. You're not gonna stay in one phase for very long. The best players, they're not just great at offense or defense. They're absolute masters at transitioning between them. And there's a really smart way to do it and a very, very common wrong way. So the smart way, the patient pathway, looks like this. Step 1, you recognize you're on defense. Okay. Step 2, your only job is to hit a high, deep, neutralizing ball to get yourself out of trouble. Do not try to be a hero. And then once you've done that and the point is back to neutral, then you can start looking for your chance to attack. And right here, this is it. This is the single biggest mistake that costs club players points and games and whole matches. They feel that pressure when they're on defense and they try to skip a step. They try to go straight from defense to offense with some crazy high-risk shot. I mean, just think about it for a second. When you are on a dead run, completely off balance, what are the odds that you can hit a powerful, precise, pinpoint winner? They're incredibly low, right? By trying to skip that neutral step, you're basically just gambling. And in tennis, the house always wins. This is where so many of those frustrating, unforced errors come from. So how do we tie all this together? I want you to start thinking of offense, neutral, defense as your new operating system for the court. It should just be running in the background of every single point, constantly helping you assess the situation and guiding you to the right shot. This one simple question can totally transform your game. As that ball is coming over the net towards you, don't just mindlessly react. Pause for a split second and ask yourself, what is this shot's job?
So here it is. Here's your cheat sheet. If you're on offense, your shot's job is to end the point. If you're in a neutral rally, its job is to prevent an attack. And if you're on defense, its only job is to keep you in the point, just to survive another ball. That's it. That is the entire game plan. You see, when you start to consciously think in these terms, you stop being just a person who hits the ball, and you start becoming a tennis player, someone who actually builds points with purpose. So the next time you step on the court, what's it going to be? What will you focus on? Getting out of defense? Being patient in the neutral rally? Or taking your chance to finish the point on offense?